Hello, everybody. How are you? It's good to see a lot of people here in the chat here. We'll get started here shortly. Ooh, we got Vivi Vault here. Fastest growing Vivi collectible YouTuber, Vivi Vault. Hello, how's it going, man? Good to see you. So, a couple things here. I was on vacation the past week or so. Went to San Francisco. It was a really fun time. Spent time with the family. It's been kind of busy year, lots of hours at work, a lot of difficult, challenging work. So it was nice to spend time with the family. And it was actually pretty timely because we left off about a week or so ago, 8 days ago. There was a lot of FUD that I definitely created. So the purpose of this live stream is to talk about two things here. One is kind of the FUD I created myself, and we'll get into that, and also kind of what's going on in the community recently with Andre Jick and company. So I have missed YouTube a little bit. Actually, it was nice to get a little bit of a break, but it's good to kind of put things into perspective. The Omi Veve Twitter community is one aspect of life, and then when you spend it with family, friends, whatever, that's definitely the more real aspect, right? So let's kind of get into it. We know that maybe 7 or 8 days ago, I made a video, a very clickbaity video where I imply that I was done, that I sold all my tokens. And some people watched the video, some people didn't, but the purpose of the video was to highlight really what I did in terms of trading and where I could see the market going and how to prepare for it. But I've realized now since then that there's a lot of people that just look at the title, don't watch the video, and that's fine. Maybe they don't have time or whatever. It's kind of like looking at a front page of a book. You look at the book and you automatically assume some things about what that book is about. So I made my biggest mistake really, and an apology I wish to kind of give to you all, the 52 of you who are watching me, is that, I wish to apologize for not necessarily the trade or necessarily making that video, but the clickbait nature of it, which, it did have a lot of effects, surprisingly for me, when I saw the Twitter community respond to it. It was very negative, and I really understand where they're coming from. I had a lot of you guys tweet at me. I had a lot of you guys leave a lot of comments on my videos, and a lot of it was from haters, and that's fine. Some of it was irrational, but a lot of what you guys said, guys and gals said, was really made me think. And I can boil it down to really it was the titling of the video, and I guess in a sense the manipulation that is implied with making a clickbait title like that. So there's a lot of people who left. I think I lost about maybe 130, 150 some odd subscribers. Probably lost more people in general in terms of like their trust. But what I learned from that is, even though I think having a channel with 6,000 subscribers is cool, I never thought it was very influential, to be honest, but it clearly is. And I think I have to be careful with what I put out to the community. And that is something I have learned from this experience. So from that perspective, if you're on the fence, and I know actually a lot of you guys are on the fence with me, my channel, try to give me another shot. I definitely have learned a lot of things, and I will put that into perspective going forward. Am I still bullish on ecomi? Am I still bullish on the token, Veve the app? Yes. Like I told you guys, some of you may not know because of, I know information spreads by word of mouth, word of text, so to speak, but I didn't sell everything. And I feel like I owe you some degree of explanation in regards to that. Over the past couple months, I accumulated 10 million Omi, and I was very happy with that. I never said this publicly, but part of that bag of Omi, if you will, was a very short-term speculative play. I had a long-term position and I had a short-term position. And my speculative play was, I really did believe we could see, 2 to 5 cents by the end of the year. I talked about that. It didn't happen. That's fine. And a lot of the reasons why it didn't happen was a lot of these factors that I talked about, that a lot of the other YouTubers talk about, didn't really happen yet. And I don't really have any ill will about it, but I expected a lot of that to happen and it didn't, which is fine. So I sold off that position and put it into something else. Uh, I know another thing that people have talked about is they didn't like the fact that I had been making these $1 Omi videos, or really what I had been doing was just adding that into the title, even though it had nothing to do with the price prediction, because it does increase views. So I was experimenting with that. Some people read the titles and see, oh, is $10 Omi going to happen? That was one of my titles. Oh, he must mean that $10 Omi is going to happen in the near future. So that's that piece. And I can see that perspective. I make these videos that seem to imply that I believe $10 Omi is going to happen. Officially, I don't believe that. I know some people do, and that's fine, but I personally don't believe that. That's my opinion. I have nothing against people who have that view. I would love it. We're both in the same boat. I would love it if that happened. But so part of that bag was a short-term speculative play. I realized it wasn't going to happen in the short term. So I unwinded the position, took a small profit, and put it into something else that's a little bit more short term. There's nothing wrong with doing that. A lot of people have said that, and there is nothing wrong with doing that. But what can be wrong is manipulating viewers. And I've seen that I had that effect, even though that was not my intention. But regardless of intention, I need to be responsible for the actions. And so this is my apology to you there, and putting into perspective some perspective there. So I do have some Omi. I do have a little bit more than what I kind of talked about. I sold off 2.5 million. I do have a little bit more recently. I don't want to talk too much about my trades. I realize there's kind of some danger in that, so I don't want to talk too much about that. So that's that. My promise to you going forward is I am definitely a lot more cognizant of the titling. And just to let you know, I am still very bullish. This is my biggest position thus far in any crypto, and just in general, it's my biggest single position. So there's that. So that was a piece of FUD. It had an effect on the market. There's a lot of people calling me Paper Hand Dan, which I thought was actually pretty funny. Maybe not. I'm not happy with the effect, but I definitely think it's a catchy name that Cavell made for me, Paper Hand Dan. It's fine. I deserve it. So it did have a small effect on the market. It did dip a little bit shortly after I released that video, but it's since popped up. But now obviously the price has gone down for a lot of other different reasons, right? So there's another piece of FUD that I want to talk about that I think is, whereas I can understand what I did, I don't necessarily understand what's going on recently with Andre Jick, the YouTuber community, the ecomi, Omi, Veve, Twitter community in general. Foster seems to be a center of it. I don't really understand that as much. I'm not going to lie. I understand where I made a mistake. I understand maybe how it worked out and the implications there, but I don't understand the reaction. So I actually haven't even watched all of these videos. I have seen bits and pieces. I have read a lot of stuff on Twitter, and I actually have the benefit of being able to talk to Foster every now and then. We don't talk a whole lot, but I am affiliated with him. I can reach out to him. I mean, I'm not affiliated in any other way. Basically, what I mean is I can reach out to him, and I can reach out to Cavell too. We've established these lines of communication. I'm a little bit more of a private person, surprisingly, so I don't always reach out to people. You may not get that because I do put out a channel, but I am kind of generally a private person. So anyways, to go back to this drama here, we know that Andre Jick promised this December 3rd thing, and I will be honest, I was very interested to see what he had to say. There's a lot of people saying Pokemon and things like that, which I thought was, honestly, I didn't think that was a very logical conclusion to jump to, because ecomi Veve Twitter has said that the only thing that's official is what comes out of their mouth. So if you take that into perspective, you will realize, or should have realized, that Andre wasn't going to do anything official. I thought it meant we could see a video or maybe something of that nature, but it turned out to be, Foster, I guess, had Foster and Andre. It's not very clear, but maybe more of Foster's side here from my perspective, from my understanding, had this Patreon group that was affiliated with Andre Jick, and there was different pricing tiers. Was that announcement disappointing? Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing because I like Andre Jick. He's one of my favorite finance YouTubers. I was expecting a video. That's what I wanted. People are a little bit upset because Foster was advertising like he didn't know what was happening when clearly it was. He did know. Maybe that's a little bit annoying, but I don't understand the reaction. People are reacting saying that he's trying to just make a bunch of money. And I don't necessarily agree with everyone going after him. I don't think it's very healthy to do that as a community. You can disagree with what he did. I actually think Foster did a pretty decent job trying to explain his actions. So if you had given him the benefit of the doubt, which I think most of you guys did, you would have understood that, maybe it wasn't rolled out properly. Maybe he made a few mistakes. Maybe Andre made a few mistakes. But at the end of the day, if you don't agree with the product that he's selling, then don't get that product, right? I mean, that's what I would think. Don't get that product. But anyways, I haven't always agreed with things Foster has said. I met Foster actually when we did a Ben Gadinzi interview together. That didn't really work out very well. Some of you may remember, some of you may not. But I was always hesitant about Foster after that for a while, actually, because I didn't know if I could trust him. And then he started putting out a lot more videos. He started getting traction. He started to participate in a lot of AMAs, Twitter AMAs with the team. And he started asking a lot of making some good content. And I don't personally watch a lot of his stuff. I'm not subscribed to him. There's just too much out there. I really don't have the time. But he would make very good points. And I started to see the spirit of what Foster was trying to do for the community, even if it may have failed in its implementation. But, he reached out to me. We talked a little bit. We had this kind of come to Jesus moment where we kind of apologized for a lot of our differences, and we kind of went forward. And ever since then, actually, I was still a little bit reluctant with Foster because I wanted to see what he would do for the community, and I think he did a good job. There's a lot of people that like Foster, like what his content is, and has grown very well on YouTube. And even Andre Jick is has shouted him out, has been on videos, has done some great things. So if he can win Andre's trust, then he must be a decent guy. And I've actually talked to him since a little bit, and he's a decent guy. I don't think we should crucify him. Is that healthy for the community to crucify this guy for maybe having this business that he's not forcing anyone to do? I don't think we should crucify him. So that's my piece with that. Now, anyways, Foster's a good guy. I don't think we should be. I think it's kind of crazy that we are in this position where there's so much FUD out there. And part of this FUD was, of course, a little bit of my fault, a little bit of other people's fault. But I think the reactions from some of the other YouTubers is a little bit saddening to me. And I'm not going to call anyone out. I don't actually know all the drama. I'm just back from vacation, so I don't know everything that's going on. I don't know if there's some videos made or some arguments, but we shouldn't be attacking people that are respected people in this community. You can attack their ideas and say those ideas are stupid, or maybe the business is stupid, but you shouldn't be going after the person, because I can attest that I think Foster is a genuine guy that really is passionate for this project. At this point in the game, I would even say he's an asset to the community more than a liability. And, I've talked to some people privately about this, but I think some of the reaction, and I'm not just saying ecomi YouTubers, and not even talking about a particular person in general, but I think a lot of people are jealous of Foster because if you're a YouTuber, you may not be, you are competitive. You have to be competitive. You understand where the strengths of other YouTubers are in relation to you. You understand how, or acknowledge that, some creators may have more of a following than others. And, if you're a well adjusted person, you don't let that get to you. You may be a little bit jealous. Jealous is a human emotion. But if you're a well adjusted person, you should accept that and kind of move on. I think a lot of this hate towards Foster, whether you're a YouTube creator or someone on Twitter or whatever, just a good old fashioned Omi Homie, I think there's a lot of people that are jealous of what he has accomplished in a pretty short time. So, to me, logically, when I see something like he's got a Patreon, is offering some access to not only him, but Andre, that's not a logical thing to get emotionally upset about. There's no FUD about this. If you don't agree with the product or service is selling, you don't think he is a good expert, then just don't buy it, right? And I think that's very clear. But where all this emotion is coming from is because we're jealous of Foster, who really got into, I don't know what he did prior to his YouTube channel. Maybe he had a following before then, but from my perspective, he didn't. He started this channel, it grew pretty big. He did very well, definitely better than me. Happy for him in that regard. And then all of a sudden, he starts getting recognition from the ecomi team. He does that great interview with Reese, really established himself there. Then he starts uh, talking to Andre Jick. And even I'm jealous about that. I mean, I like Andre Jick. He actually got me on to Omi. So there is a little bit of jealousy there. But if you're a well adjusted person, like I hope many of you guys are, you're not going to attack the man because you're a little jealous that he got something that you didn't. And that's the sad part. That's what I really feel about this community and this situation, is that there's a lot of jealousy, and it's compounded by the fact that, Omi isn't doing so well. We're up in the air with a lot of announcements. We don't know what's coming. AMA this week, by the way. So I don't know. I think that's where a lot of this FUD is coming from, and we're taking it out on Foster. So let's take some comments here, if we have any. Yob says, I'll support you, bro. I don't care what the FUD is about. It's not FUD for me this time. I've learned my lesson. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Longtime subscriber. Ma, also from Germany. I know you've been a supporter for a long time. Appreciate it. Bruce, hope you're doing really well too. Josh, I'd give anything to have our community get along. I love Foster's content as I do Cavell's. I wish to drop the beef and move forward stronger. Yeah. I agree with this too, because at the end of the day, we are stronger if we have multiple YouTubers, multiple community members talking about stuff, putting out Twitter spaces. I know there's a big Facebook, Instagram following as well, people doing their thing. With YouTube, you can't be the top dog forever. There's a time when, unless you get lucky or something, you kind of get obsolete, you get a little stale. That's just kind of the nature of YouTube, I think. So when that happens, you just can't be bitter about it. You just got to move along. I think you have to be well adjusted to accept that this will eventually be a reality for a lot of people. So don't get jealous and tear other content creators down. And that's what I would go for. And, but to be honest, this is just the straw that broke the camel's back. If it wasn't this instance, it would have been something else. There's so much pressure building in the community because there's a lot of things that aren't happening. People are angry. So if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. You should pay $100 then for his useless group. Yeah. Okay. The way he played with the momentum to drop something crappy like that through Andre is just disgusting. To make him quit his job, what a joke. Yeah, I forgot about this part. People are also upset with the fact that he said that. I don't even know, right? So I just know what other people have been saying on Twitter about something about his retirement plan. And I think retirement plan has a really negative connotation because it sounds like he's really trying to cash in on the community. But what he really wants to do is, I take this as he really wants to do something that's really his dream, which is probably to not do his job, whatever that is. I think law enforcement or something, and do something he loves. I don't think there's anything wrong with having this aspiration. Do I have this as a dream to make content and quit my job and just make content and have the flexibility of being a content creator? Yes. If I said it was my retirement plan, would that piss people off? Yes, definitely. So maybe it was a bad choice of words from whoever said it. I think it was Andre, actually. I don't know who said it. Um, but to me, we shouldn't hate people for saying it's your dream to quit your job and do something different, something you really like. Is it my dream to do that? Yes. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Probably not. I mean, I'm blessed to be in a strong financial position, so it's probably not going to happen for a long time. But a person can dream, right? What I really think about the VV community, 20% of them are nutso, but they like to be the loudest on social media. Yeah, the loudest people tend to be the craziest, that's for sure. Is some of it justified? Yes, some of it probably is, not all of it. Glenn, how's it going? Good to see you, Zuma. Profit Man Dan. Yeah, actually, my trade I did at the 6-6 level is starting to look really, really like I'm really, really smart. Obviously, I didn't predict that. I did predict more of a downturn, but I didn't see this necessarily. But that's just being lucky. Some of it's being lucky. Financial news and views, doing good things. Welcome back. Good to see you, man, in the stream. Kurt, what's up, man? Hey, longtime supporter. I did read your comment on my video. I appreciate you kind of giving me a chance there. Your sound in my book. I appreciate that. Good to see you back. I plan on making a lot of content here pretty soon. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. And there's other thing, I do want to get to a point where I talk about other tokens. I think I've kind of stayed here with the Veve content as my core content, really because it's done so well. The bulk of my audience is Veve, but there's actually a lot of good projects out there that you can make a lot of good money. Some that I'm invested in. I'm not trying to shill it. I'm just, part of my channel is really a journal of my crypto finances. So it's not that I'm shilling tokens I'm invested in. It's just what I'm documenting it, right? Everyone clickbaits. I will say everyone does clickbait because it's part of the game. It's part of why newspapers do their thing. It's part of why people make fancy book covers and fancy book titles. There's a science to it, but I definitely don't want to be. If I'm going to make clickbait, it should be more positive, right? I don't want to make negative clickbait. That's what it is. Paper hand Dan, my man Hund Grand. Changing the title about you selling could have been done more accurately, but all in all, you're always solid and been worthwhile content, in my opinion. See, I'm a big believer of free speech. Actually, I don't know if I said this already, but actually, Foster reached out to me, and this is how I know Foster's a good guy. He's not some guy who's trying to like tear people down, but he reached out to me before I did the live stream. I forgot I needed to say this or wanted to say this. He reached out to me before I did the live stream, was like, hey, your title's a little clickbaity. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, paraphrasing here, but Cavell and I, we got in this little thing because we said something how we're going to sell our collectibles for Omi. That created a lot of FUD. So I just want to reach out and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. And he did it with a good spirit. He's not telling me what to do. He's just coming at it from a friendly angle and said, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. And of course, I generally don't like people telling me what to do. When people tell me what to do, there's something that really bothers me about it. And I usually always do the opposite, even if it's I'm going down in flames. Back in the day when there was that Ben Gadinzi interview, I actually had a choice to make. Should I release the Ben Gadinzi interview, or should I um, keep it private? And there was a lot of people had very strong feelings about it. People who wanted me to release that interview, people who didn't. And to be honest, what made me decide was there's too many people out there trying to tell me what to do in a way I didn't appreciate. So I did the exact opposite of that. It's the same thing here. The other people on the other side were a little bit more respectful about it. So I basically went in that direction. I was really torn there. But okay, the point I was trying to get at is Foster had a very respectful tone about it. If he had come at it in a way like some of you guys in the comments were like, dude, your title was so much clickbait. Please change it. Oh my gosh, you hadn't changed it yet. That pissed me off, and I never do what those people say. So that's just my personality. I don't know. Maybe it's from my upbringing. My mom always told me what to do. So now that I'm a 36-year-old man, I have to do the exact opposite. So, yeah, the titling could have been different, but part of my mantra is I don't want to hide and change the title and act like I didn't do what I did. I need to own up to my mistake, and that's why I kept that title there. What is your opinion on paid groups? I have no problems with paid groups. The reason I don't do a paid group is financially, I don't think it's worth my time. I think there's better ways for me to make money, like basically work one shift. I can probably make a lot of money doing just that. So, second thing is I feel like sometimes I have things that are very valuable, but they're not consistent. Like there's a couple calls I'm really proud of. October 4th, I put out a video that said something like we could see 0.0066 to 80 in 1 week. And it actually happened. We hit 0.0083 that week because I was looking at technical analysis. I was looking at, I don't want to give out all my trade secrets, but I look at things on Twitter and I look at the Omi wallet tracker, the GoChain tracker. I look at certain things, and that's how I decide about certain calls I make. But that call was correct. We hit 0.0083 in a few days. Also, my trade a week ago, there was things I was looking at, and I sold at that position. And, of course, I didn't know we were going to be here so quickly, but I didn't anticipate we were going to go down in price. So my opinion on why I don't do paid groups is I don't feel like I can give you guys enough good calls, and it would stress me out. I would rather just make a video on a good call and put that out for free than have you guys pay for it. So I don't think I'd be valuable enough. I would never put out $100 pay Telegram group because I don't think you guys would make your investment back. If I thought I could, if I thought I was good enough, I would. So I think if you can provide enough good content and you're vetted in the community, because you don't just put that out willy-nilly. If you're good, if you're professional, if you've got some good advice, some good calls, some good reads, some good insight, then people should pay for it if it's truly worth anything. That's how business capitalism works. So that's my opinion on it. Do I think Foster right now, from my understanding of Foster's group, could it be worth $100? I think potentially having access to Andre could be worth $100. I don't think anything else would be worth $100. There's really very few people in the community that I would think would be worth $100 a month. I'll just put that out there. There's maybe one or two people that I would, but I'm not going to throw that out there necessarily. Isaiah, thank you for your donation. You were, well, I don't want to say that. I'm not, I did leave you, but I'm not your God. So anyways, we'll put out some good content here pretty soon. Mr. Anomalous, Dan, you're a great guy. Fill your bags on each crypto you can with risk and reward. Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. You're an early supporter. I recognize a lot of my early supporters because they mean a lot. Paper Hand Dan, that's me. I don't mind taking jokes. I like to joke around on Twitter. I like to troll a little bit. It's amusing. I don't know if maybe some people take me seriously, but I'm okay with jokes. Jokes are fun, man. It keeps the community fun. Coin Daddy, early supporter here as well. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Everyone clickbaits, even the news. I also have a short-term bag that I had to sell to get into some passive income. It really was blown under proportion. Yes, it was blown under proportion. I did make a mistake though. Maybe it was too clickbaity, but it was just a symptom of the underlying disease. That underlying disease being we are we are tired of seeing Omi price dump. We don't know what's happening with immutable MTL Pokemon. So it's really a manifestation. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else. That's what I believe. Appreciate your donation. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate that. It's funny you're apologizing for clickbait, then every video on YouTube does the same. Yes, it was clickbait, but the clickbait was different on this because it made it sound like I was done. That's the difference. It's one thing to say, oh, I think $10 Omi is coming tomorrow. It's one thing to do that, but then it's another thing to just say, I build up this reputation in the community and then I say I'm done. Because it did have an impact on price. And I didn't mean for that to happen, but it did. And you know what would bother me the most is if a viewer took what I said seriously and then sold at a loss. That would bother me the most. And I'm hoping it didn't happen. That would make me feel a bit guilty. I don't think he should have teased it. Yeah, that's the only thing I was not happy about. I was not happy with the teasing. It'd be one thing if he didn't say anything, but the fact that he was acting like, hey guys, hey Omi detectives, come figure it out what it is. If it would have been cool, like Andre saying, hey guys, I'm putting out a Veve channel separate from the main channel, and I'm going to put out exclusive Veve content for you guys. I mean, that would have been one thing, but for it to be a paid group is definitely, it was a little depressing, not going to lie. No sane person would get that product. The reason people is upset is that they played with the momentum of the community to release some snaky retirement plan through Andre's platform. I get how you would feel that way. I don't necessarily take it that way, but I know how you would feel. I get how people would feel that way. So, yeah, I mean, you do have to kind of damage control a little bit, right? Because you have to protect your own reputation. If you didn't mean that, then you got to be Johnny on the spot about it. I took a different strategy, actually. I decided to just let it go. Part of it was I wanted to do a video like this earlier where I apologize, but I released a video and I did 2 12s at my urgent care. And they're pretty brutal shifts, to be honest. And I've been kind of beaten down by work in general this year. So I really didn't have the energy that I needed to. I feel like had I done a video right after a 12-hour shift, being mentally fatigued, I wouldn't have come off as genuine. So I wanted to be a good video rather than a quick video. Then, of course, I went on vacation from December 2nd through December 6th. You know, I was in San Francisco, and I really couldn't do content there either. So. I like Foster. He's a nice guy. Always brings good information. Was not just not addressing the video. Maybe a little bit better with all the FOMO. I didn't like how Cavell went after this for a group when he's doing the same. Listening to a self-made million when he buys and sells stocks was a great incentive, or some guy from the. Yeah, I didn't understand what the beef was all about, to be honest, because I was seeing. I follow Cavell. I was seeing what he was saying, but I didn't know what he was in reference to until later. When I got off the plane, I looked at Foster's, and then I understood what was going on a little bit better. Kind of shame. Matthew says, I watch everything Cavell. He's an asset to the entire group. I think he may have felt left out, and that would have been mitigated had they included him. It would have went better. Here's the thing, right? Foster said something like, and I'll get to the super chats here in a second. I'm sorry. Let me just take this opportunity here to talk about this. But Foster said something like, I was wanting to create this group by cherry picking, or he didn't say cherry picking, but picking the best from every field. And I don't know who he was thinking about selecting, but someone said this to me, not to me directly, but someone said this. But it'd be kind of like, as a content creator's perspective, being in PE class and having all the athletic kids being picked out before you, and you're the last one. Like for me, I don't think it would bother me necessarily. It would bother me a little bit. I would feel like I sucked in some way. But there's a lot of other good content creators that are up and coming that have like 500, 600 subscribers, or that have blown past that, have started really recently. What if they weren't selected? How would that make them feel? Now, you shouldn't do business based off how everyone feels, right? We're not too new agey about it. But I don't personally like that. But I'm also the type of guy that probably wouldn't be picked as, actually, I know I wouldn't be picked. So, yeah, I think that was a little bit of a damage control thing, but who knows? I don't know what was going through their mind, what their business plan was. Maybe their idea was to really cherry pick the best here. But, anyways, here's the thing. This is another thing I wanted to talk about. Everyone hides under the thin veneer of we're all family here. We're Omi homies. It's really not true. It's sad to say this, but when people's money is involved, if someone loses $1, all of a sudden they're tripping about it and their true colors do come out. So it's times of stress, in times of FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, despair, that people will reveal their true colors. So that's something you should take into consideration when someone is offering you something, whether that's a free YouTube video or a paid group. So take that into consideration as well. They should not have released a trailer playing with the market like that. Yeah, I forgot Andre's side about that. Yeah. Well, crypto's unregulated, so that's not illegal. Is it wrong? Maybe, depending on your ethics, maybe. But I see what you're saying now. I need to get to these chats here. Oh, wow. Jeremy Padaware here. I need to look at this. Okay, I got to get through some of these here. Man, wow, that's a famous person. Zach R says, Asian Dan is the man. Zach, appreciate all the support. You've been a long time supporter. I do appreciate it, man. Austin, my biggest supporter thus far, with a $100 donation. I appreciate it. Let's read it. Regardless of what you say here, I'll appreciate that you donated to the stream. Every YouTuber has been abusing clickbait, to be honest. $10 Omi Pokemon. Your clickbait made the mistake of being bearish, which this community can't handle, and 100% agree with the jealousy. Only watched 15 minutes, but it was palpable. Cavell saying it was charity. Hey, man, I appreciate your donations. You've been one of the biggest supporters of the stream. I appreciate you there. Lyndon says Veve is heading to $500 million in profit next year. I think so, because when you think about it, I've talked about this before, but there's something called it's like, I'm not into this space, but I've read about it. When you're a small growth startup company, a good measurement is to see if you can, it's called triple, triple, double, 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 or T2, D3, which means that hopefully, if you're a good startup, have a good business, you could triple your revenue in the first year and the second year, and then double it every year for 3 years after that. So we're on track to, we hit like what, I don't know the exact numbers, $100 million in revenue. That's really double what I thought. Early on, I thought we were only going to hit like 60 million in revenue at best, right? But we're at 100 million. Year's not even over yet, so it could be a little bit more, maybe a little less, something like that. But could we triple our revenue next year for 2022? I think it's definitely possible with all the other things in the pipeline. Vvverse, Mutable will happen by then. Multiple exchanges will happen by then. There's going to be a lot of marketing. Hopefully that happens by then. 100 plus licenses are coming. I can easily see us hitting 4, 5, 6 drops a week, maybe even more. It's possible. This thing will start burning like crazy. I think we're so early. You hear this all the time, but we're so early. Could we hit $500 million in profit next year? Not profit, but maybe gross revenue. I think it's possible. Let's see. Jeremy Padaware. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. I look at all your tweets all the time to get little nuggets of gold. I'm assuming this is the real Jeremy Padaware and not some smurf, but either way, I appreciate you, sir. Green Bean says it's all good. No, you're not going anywhere. That would make the person selling guilty of not doing due diligence. Who sells on a YouTube title? Okay. What do you think about token price manipulation? Team makes promises for 7 months. We see this or next week. Looks like manipulation because they're idiots. First of all, the people manipulating are not the current founders. Second of all, we don't know 100% if big whales are manipulating. We know that there's manipulation in markets, just any market in general. We do see massive sell walls that pop up. Is that manipulation? I would say so. Is it something that's illegal? I don't know. Not a lawyer, but I don't think so. So it's not the team currently that's doing this. If you look at their wallets, which I do track, the ones that are known at least, you don't see a lot of movements out of the wallets. So it shows you that the core members of the team are holding, they're not selling. There are some ex-members that you see a lot of tokens moving in and out of their wallets. We don't know 100% what happens, but the current theory is that maybe they're selling off, maybe they're buying back in. We don't know 100%, but that's my theory, is that some of them are buying and selling. We just don't know who. We don't know. We're not 100% on that, right? Are you worried about private groups equals pump and dump collectibles? Private groups are doing that. I don't have any evidence for this. This is all speculation. But what I would do if I had money is I would get a bunch of my rich friends together. Let's say, okay, we're going to go after, like Donnie. Why is Donnie intrinsically valuable? I've never known that. I mean, do people just love? I mean, I don't even know what cartoon that's from, but is Donnie? I don't know if it's a unicorn or a horse, but is he just that fundamentally valuable that is worth the amount of money it is? No, it's because that some whales hold a lot of it. And they control the prices. That happens with a lot of the collectibles. It has to. It just has to. So I'm not worried about it because it's already happening. I mean, it's just part of life. It's kind of like big whales in Omi. Some people have billions of Omi. Could they manipulate the price and get more Omi? Yeah. Would I do it? I would think about it. I would. So I'm not worried about it. It's part of the program. I would just be wary as a mom and pop buyer, seller of NFTs. I would be wary of buying something very, very expensive. If you make 50, 60,000 a year, the average US income, I would not be buying very expensive collectibles just because the possibility you could be rug pulled there, right? But that's just me. It's not advice, it's just me. I personally wouldn't do it. Oh, there's another piece of FUD that went around, if you're on Twitter, that I do want to talk about. There was a guy named Mr. Profit on Twitter. He responded to one of my tweets or something, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a Donnie." And I ignored it the first time because I mean, I just don't have time. I was on vacation, didn't have time. I just thought it was a bunch of crap. Thought it was a scam. But he hit me up again and I looked at it. He was like, "Hey, put up the QR code. I'll give you a Donnie." So I'm not going to refuse something that's free. So I put my QR code up there. There's no harm in doing that. I was like, if he gives me something, great. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But that person gave me a Donnie. And then he put out something that was interpreted that you could interpret as like, hey, the next person who makes a FUD video, I'll give you like a Donnie or two Donnies. I forgot what it was. And a lot of people saw that, Tap saw that and thought, could it be FUD? Could it be a manipulator trying to get another FUD video out there to take advantage of it? I personally don't think so. I talked to him a little bit on Twitter, very briefly. I don't think that was his intention, and it doesn't seem to be working. Point of the matter is, I didn't make a FUD video for a Donnie. I wouldn't make something. How should I say this? Everyone has their price, and my price is not a. It wasn't a Donnie. What was it? It was a Todd. Sorry, my price is not a Todd. Every man has a price. If someone was like, "Hey, here's $100,000, make a FUD video," I would probably make a FUD video. No question about it. But for 2,500 gems, that's the value of the Todd right now. Would I take that to make a FUD video? I like to think I'm a little bit more expensive than that. I'm a man that is a little bit more expensive than a Todd. I don't know what my price is, but I know $2,500 is not it. $2,500 is a lot of money, but it's not something outrageous for me. But I would do it for $100,000. Okay, let's get through some more comments here. Zoom, good to talk with you, man. Edward says, do you have a strategy for the Veveverse already? I don't know what you're referring to, but maybe you're talking about land. Do I have a strategy with that? I'm potentially willing to put half of my Omi into something like land, just depending on what it is. It's not just any land. Like I really like oh gosh, I'm so tired. Just came back, just kind of jet lagged here, but Alluvium. Alluvium has a land sale coming up soon. And you could do things with it. You can mine resources, fuel. You can get a little bit of like wood or something. I don't know. Fuel is one of the resources, but that can be used in the game and could potentially be worth a lot of money. I would do something that I could see, that I understand could be a big asset in the future. What will they design? If it doesn't sound like something I personally think is worth buying, then I won't buy it. But if I feel like it's worth a lot of money, it could be worth some advertising dollars, you could build stuff on it. I'm interested in building something on land. I'm also interested in things like resources. Like, could you have something where, I don't know, could you have like trees on your land that you can maybe actively, in a light gamification type way, that you can maybe harvest to build third-party accessories like shelves? That could be cool. I think I'm only saying this because I like the idea of having resources on your land and I like the idea of having accessories, but could you have a mine? Could an ultra rare piece of land have a mine on your land that you can mine and get gold and platinum and silver, that maybe you can turn certain collectibles gold if you have enough gold mined up? That could be a real use case for your land. I would be excited about that. I would spend money on that. Would I spend money on just a piece of land that you could hang out at? I don't know the answer to that. Probably not. But that would be my strategy, is potentially to put 50% of my money, Omi bag, into land. And I've said that before. Veve Vault, fastest growing Veve collectible YouTuber by far. Really impressed with his growth. So he must be doing something right if he's the fastest growing Veve collectible YouTuber. Oh, that's my baby crying. Let's go. Veve price prediction. Oh, that's my baby crying. I hope you guys can't hear that. Veve price prediction. I actually saw his channel. He has got a new channel, he or she, that does price predictions on collectibles. So definitely check that out. I haven't watched the video yet, but looks interesting, looks promising. It's a good niche, good YouTube niche. I love your videos, but it was not right to talk about selling Omis on YouTube. Selling and buying should be a private move. For me, personally, it is creating uncertainty. Yeah, and I addressed this earlier in the video. It wasn't done. I actually have to be more careful about that. This doesn't explain or forgive my behavior, but my thought was to start a new sort of column or video segment where maybe I talk about some moves I'm making with my portfolio or moves I think could be good, because I do have a few. Every now and then I have a good theory, and so far some of these have worked out, but I shouldn't have done it in a public way. So probably the solution to that going forward is to not talk about my personal portfolio or the personal moves I'm making. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I probably will hesitate. I won't say I won't, but I will hesitate a little bit. You should find a new project to speak on. You burnt the community with your subscriber clickbait grab. See, what I've talked about earlier was cute baby, by the way, is I don't like when people try to tell me what to do in a way that's not like respectful. So I'm probably here to stay, man. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if you were a little bit more respectful about it, I might have changed it up a little bit, but yeah. Anyways, I have to leave soon. So didn't you sell your whole bag? No, I had 10 million. I sold 2.5 million. I actually have more than 7.5 million, but I'm still in it. A lot of hate for Foster. Paper Hands Dan, that's me. If you haven't checked, if you think the Omi community is off the wall, you haven't checked out Cardano or XRP. I know about XRP. XRP has an army, and you don't want to mess with them. Johnny Duran says, yeah. So that was my mistake. It wasn't Donnie. I lost track. It was a Todd. It was a Todd. Rip Curls, good to see you, man. Hope medicine is doing well for you right now, end of the year and all. I'm all for capitalism, but Foster is the steak and Andre is a paper plate. No intelligent person would pay $100 for financial advice from someone who is for someone who's a virgin to the project. Yeah, I'm not sure if honestly, 99% of people doing YouTube content right now, I would not pay $100 for. There's one or two people in my mind right now that they don't necessarily do YouTube, but I would consider paying $100. But it's none of the usual suspects. No way, man. I mean, no way. I would pay for just to be able to hang out or personally message Andre Jick. I would personally pay for that. But yeah, you're right, man. I don't know. Bert the jerk. Wow, Dan, way to kill your channel. That actually feels. I feel sad about that because I know you're one of my earlier supporters. So that does hurt a little bit more. So it's from the haters. From people whose usernames I don't really recognize. It doesn't bother me as much, but it's the people that have been with me a little bit early that does sadden me a little bit there. Daniel, how's it going? This Daniel, if you guys don't know, he is CryptoDan on Twitter. Puts out either really funny tweets. I always get a kick out of them, or really insightful crypto tweets. So good stuff right there. He says the community is way too emotional. No one should be slated for taking profit. Clickbait gets views. That's just the YouTube algorithm. Dan is literally karate chopping his subscriber count. I've lost about 150, 130, 150 net subscribers. So that's pretty significant. But I think I can come back from this. Here's the thing. People have short-term memories. People forget things. So I have had a lot of FUD too during the Ben Gadinzi drama. And so I think I can survive this too. So anyways, guys, hey, Sleeping Comics here. Dan, you're an honest man. I respect that. Appreciate you, man. Check out his YouTube channel here. I'm not hyping him because he's Asian. I'm hyping him because he does good content as well. So anyways, probably need to head off here and help my wife take care of the baby. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys listening to me. We're going to recover from this. Long term, we're going to do really well. We just have to get past this FUD. And I think big things will happen. So cheers, guys. Have a good week. And we'll come back with some videos next time. Take care, guys. Oh, Mark here. Take care, homie. Mark has been putting out some good YouTube videos as well. So anyways, see ya.